Hello guys, summer is a great time to enjoy your pool, but if you're like me and have all these pool accessories laying around, might be a little bit less enjoyable. So today I'm gonna build a box to store them in and I'll show you all the steps. Let's go for it. I decided to do two frames, one at the bottom and one at the top. The bottom one will be having casters to level them up because my pool deck isn't level. And for the project, I'll be using 2x4s. The length of the box will be 6 feet. The width will be 2 feet, and the height will be approximately 30 to 35 inches. We'll see how it goes. Usually, I would cut the edges of each 2x4s or 3x4s I use, but my design will be precisely 6x2, so I'll probably need the entire length of these 2x4s because they're 8 feet long, so I won't be cutting edges. This is not very precise project, and it doesn't need structural support, so it's good just to have them as is. So I'm gonna cut one 2x4, and then I'll use these for the rest, to measure the rest. Since the storage box will be precisely 2 feet wide, I just placed both sides and measured 24 inches between them, and I throw these in between, and I'll just measure the length I need to cut off. That's it. And because this box will have two compartments, I will need 3 like that per each um, per each side. So in total I will need 6. The bottom will look, and structural support isn't really required here. So I'm not going to be using my favorite jerky fasteners. I'll be just using regular deck screws. I will pre-drill the holes and I will attach everything together. On top of that, I will be using glue, so at the end it will be pretty durable. I'll be using these regular deck screws, 2.5 inch, and I will pre-drill the holes, and I'll also pre-drill the little bit bigger holes so the bit can fit in and I can screw them a little bit deeper. So as you can see, this slope on this deck is ridiculous. When it was built, it was not built very properly, and it just made it worse over the years. So here is higher, and here is lower. The rest of the deck is fine, but just these corners aren't aligned well. So what I've done is I aligned the bottom of this box, and since I'll be using these casters basically in this corner, it will be pretty much like that, and in this corner it will be higher, and this corner it will be the highest. So this will allow me to align this box with this deck, and if ever I need to replace it, I'll have to do just take these casters out, and I'll still have pretty square box. To protect from bugs climbing underneath, I will be using this aluminium mesh, and I will just staple this to the bottom of this box. I will be cutting, or basically chopping, this 4x4 to the different widths and attaching it to each corner of this bottom to later attach casters. For instance, here I need approximately from 2 to 3 inches thick of the corner, so I'm gonna cut 2.5 inches. I'm using clamps to set the level for each block, and then I will be basically gluing and connecting every block with 2.5-inch screws, deck screws, same way I've done with this framing. And then once it's done, I'll be connecting casters. Attach this aluminium mesh to this bottom frame. It will prevent bugs climbing underneath, and it will allow water to drip through it. And you can use a regular mesh that's used for windows. I just happened to find this aluminium one and I want to try it out. For the staples, I'm using galvanized ones. They're not the best ones, but they will do the job and they will not rust much. If you have stainless steel, this would be the best. Since I will be covering all the sides of this box with the 1x6 planks, I can just bend it over and attach all together like that. Now when the aluminium mesh is ready, I will be attaching some 1x4s across the entire base, because when I connect the bottom and the top part together, I'll be using 1x6 on the side. So it's safe to say that I can use this 1x4 and the length will be from one edge to the another edge. And also to support these planks, I will throw one 2x3 across this part. Here I do not want to pre-drill anything, so I'll just throw a couple of JRK fasteners on each side, which do not need pre-drilling, and it's gonna be good enough to hold all the load within this box. this 1x4s, precisely 2 feet long, and I'll attach them across this entire base with some gaps. So I will make around 2 inches gap between each plank, and I'll attach them all across. Gap between all this plank a little bit wider on one side, so it's going to be 4 feet. I have this spacer, so it's going to make things much easier. I'm using 1.5 inch fasteners. They're small profile, so they will not be visible, and again I'm using JRK fasteners, so I just like them. Now is the time to attach top to the bottom, and the height of this box will be 30 inches total height plus the lid. So I measured the 30 inches from here to here, and from here to here I connected them with this level just to make sure it's all straight. And now I'm gonna cut this 1x6 boards and attach them all over the edges of this, which will make them, which will make it a box, basically. Okay, it's good to go. To attach these boards, I'll be using these camo fasteners. It's mainly used for decking, but I have some leftovers, so I'm gonna use it. It's a little bit hard to use it on vertical surfaces, so I'm using clamps to attach each board, and then I'm just using camo. And also at the end, I'll use these 2x3s to attach from inside, just to make this structure a little bit more sturdier, because these 1x6, they're not very strong to support the entire box. So yeah, I'll just throw this one inside and attach it just without any pocket holes. Just I'll use probably fasteners and just get them through. This Kama system is incredibly easy to use for decking, and what's good about it, you don't see any holes. Everything goes on the side of the boards, and because these are a little bit thinner, I don't screw it entirely in till the end. Just leave a little bit of space so they don't go through. Yeah, touching on vertical surfaces isn't easy. But the good thing is, you really don't see, if you look straight, you don't really see anything. It's interesting, without the glue, it wasn't going in, but it basically acted like a lubricant, and it's very nicely fit in. Here I'm going to throw a couple of 2x4 fasteners on each side. Without pre-drilling, without pocket holes, it's gonna fit nicely and it's not gonna be visible. When you screw something without pocket holes, you screw straight and then you just make an angle. And it's gonna go through. I was about to finish my day, since I haven't completed touching all the boards around this box, I decided to attach these casters and just leave it on the patio until I come back to it next morning. I have these anti-corrosive roofing screws, 1 inch long. They're perfect for attaching the swivels. So I'll be using 4 of them per swivel, and I'll be pre-drilling the holes for them. So when attaching the swivels, just need to make sure that they can rotate, and I try to attach them as close to the base as possible, but as well they have to rotate freely. So I'll just found the best position for rotation. I'll be just attaching them. Okay, that's it. With this storage box becoming heavier and heavier, we decided to move it up to the deck and continue adding all the planks while it's on the deck. To attach corner planks, I decided to use brad nailer at one edge because the screws will be visible and brad nails won't. So I finally finished attaching all the boards, and it looks quite nicely. You don't see any screws here, and I wanted to make them equal from each side. So now I have these gaps which I'll fill with some planks. The bottom line is you can use just regular decking screws, 2 per top, 2 per bottom, and then if you don't like the holes and the screws how they look, you just attach 3, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and it will look as nice as without any screws, and it will be very easier. It will be much easier than just going with comma because it has to be very precise. And again, I really like this look, but I spend a lot of time going through every board, every plank. For leads, I'll be using 1 by 4 planks. They have to be very straight. So when you pick up them from the lumber yards, make sure they're straight. And then I'll make a frame from them, and then I'll attach 1 by 6, cross them the same way I attached the other 1 by 6 to the box. To attach corner planks, I decided to use brad nailer at one edge because the screws will be visible and brad nails won't. For leads, I'll be using 1 by 4 planks. They have to be very straight, so when you pick up them from the lumber yards, make sure they're straight. And then I'll make a frame from them, and then I'll attach 1 by 6, cross them the same way I attached the other 1 by 6 to the box. I'm going to cut each corner of these planks by 45 degrees, so then I can attach the smaller ones to them. I'll also cut the smaller ones by 45 degrees. So I adjusted my saw by 45, and I'm gonna chop each corner, and then I'll connect them together with the nailer, as well as 1 by 6 planks. So basically, this is how they're gonna connect together, and then I'll put 1 by 6 on top of them and glue everything together. And again, I'm cutting off planks, so I use 3 boards at a time. Quick tip: if your meter saw cannot cut something till the end, just use hand saw and cut it just a little bit. You want to review all your planks. Make sure if anything started to bend, you make sure that the sides are facing down. So when you put them up and they're not dry and cause you some bumps. So there are sides that will be bending because this will be going a little bit up in the center. The sides will be facing down. So yeah, don't be lazy. Review all the planks. At the most important moment, the battery on this nailer died. So I put the glue and I couldn't nail it. So I just used clamps to clamp it all together. And now when it's recharged, I'm gonna um, nail them together. Actually, I put different nails already, but I'm gonna use larger nails. And these are all galvanized nails. I already started layering down these planks, so the same strategy I use. I layer them from both sides, so I don't have to cut them here. I make them even, and in the middle, whatever is left, I'll just cut the plank and I will attach it. But again, it can be used from one side till the end, and then whatever is left at the ends, just cut this one and put the half. So I'm gonna mark the back just so I don't forget. This will be front. Why? Because I want the planks to be aligned on this side, and at the back, well, if they just a little bit longer or shorter, I don't care, they'll be at the back. And also the ones that maybe have some cracks or maybe have some bronc or bad cats, they'll be at the back. So as I said, I had the gap here, so I was lucky. 1 by 4 was exactly fitting in, so I just gonna put it in here, make sure it aligns with all the other edges, and I'm gonna cut it. As I mentioned earlier, I will be filling up gaps on the sides of the box with planks, so I'm using this table saw. I already did all the measurements, so I'm just gonna cut all the planks. For additional stability of this lid, I decided to add one 2x2 just across the lid. Oops, I forgot that I have this here, so it doesn't close. I'm gonna fix it right now. Now it's better. So it's time to add hinges, some hardware. If you want a door or a lid to open up automatically, you can use these adjustable spring hinges, which you will find with this spring inside and this little pin, which you can insert in these holes to adjust the resistance. So let me show you how it works. Usually in the pack you will get this little helper. So what you're going to do is you will insert it in one of the holes like that, and you will see that when you push it like that, it will start, it will activate the resistance. So now, let's say I want to push it down and I want to insert this pin in the other hole and then gently push it back, and now the resistance is activated. What that means, see, it's hard to close it and the pin stays inside and this spring is activated. What that means is you can attach to a lid or a door and it will always try to close it or to open it depending how you attach it. So I'm gonna show the way to attach it to a lid which placed horizontally, and this lid will be always try to be opened. The reason I'm doing that because this lid is heavy and I have kids and I definitely want to protect their fingers. So I want this hinge not just be used as a hinge, but something to open up this lid easily when they want to put something in this box. And obviously I'll put some latches to close this lid, but I hope it will help a little bit to save their fingers. The overall router work looks ugly, but this is how I want to do it. And this is already activated spring hinge, so it tries to be opened, and that's how I want to place it. So like that, and see, it will try to open this lid as much as it can. Obviously, it won't be opening it, but it will be reducing the resistance of this lid, so it's not gonna go close and flip and maybe hit fingers. To be honest, these spring hinges didn't help much. This lid is still too heavy, and what I'm gonna do eventually, I'll probably add some hardware that can hold this type of lid, and maybe I'll slow down how it closes. Final step, sealing and staining the storage box. I'm using this Thompson's water seal transparent wood sealer, and I'm using natural cedar. And this is final product. So few considerations. Um, Making it with 2x4s, 2x3s, and 1x6 fencing boards is pretty cheap way. Some considerations about the quality. So these boards are not the best quality, and I was not expecting that. They bent a little bit and warped a little bit, so could have been seen here, a little bit here. So I just had some wet wood and I couldn't wait until it gets fully dry, and I missed a couple of parts where it's bent a little bit. I don't care about this. This box is very functional, that's what I needed. It has two compartments, one here, one there. I could put everything that I had around my pool here, and here is pool nets, all the other accessories for the cleaning. If I were you, I would just use regular decking screws, screw them in two by side, and then just put some trim on top of it. It would look great. Other consideration is do not miss the gap between a lid and the base. I missed it, and then I couldn't entirely open it, so I had to cut those planks a little bit at the back. Another consideration is do not use spring-loaded hinges. See, they make a little bit of sound, this noise, and they're useless because they cannot hold this heavy lid, even though it's made from the light wood, still it's heavy, so it's pretty useless. Also, do not try to hide them. I mean, it looks great because I routed everything within it and they completely hidden, but it's not worth the effort. Just put regular hinges and you're gonna be good, unless you want to route them. And yeah, they will look great. They will be completely hidden within, and these are very strong ones. So two of them enough for this lid. That's pretty much it. I'm very happy with this box. It was able to hold everything that we had around it. We have a lot of inflatables here, a lot of noodles, everything, two boards. It still can hold them all. Obviously, you can put a net all around from inside if you worry about bugs, but overall the quality is great. There are not many large gaps at all. Right, guys, thanks for joining me in this DIY project, and as usual, let me know your thoughts or any questions down below in the comments. Cheers.